topic is path independence, potential function, and conservative field. In the previous lecture, line integral was discussed. So I will just recapitulate that. Line integral is a simple and natural generalization of a definite integral, integral a to b fx dx, where a is the lower limit, b is the upper limit, fx is the integrand, and it is integrated with respect to x. A line integral of a vector function fr over a curve c rt, where rt is equal to xti plus yj plus zk, is defined by integral over c fr dr, which is equal to integral a to b frt fr dash t dt, where r dash is equal to dr by dt. So the variable considered here is t. Now line integral has applications in the field of magnetism, electricity, and fluid flow. Path dependence. So the line integral depends not only on the f and on the endpoints a and b of the path, but also on the path itself along which the integral is taken. It is said to be path independent. So if I have a point a and a point b, so it doesn't depend upon initial point and final point, but also depends upon the path followed by the curve between the points A and B. This is path dependence. And path independence means if you have 2 points, A as initial point, B as final point, then it will depend only upon the initial and final point, and it doesn't depend upon the path it follows. Or it can be straight line, it can be curve, it can be any path. So this is the meaning of path independence. In mathematically, how we state this, how we write this. So for certain vector fields, the amount of work required to move a particle from one point to another is dependent only on its initial and final positions, not on the path it takes. Gravitational and electric fields are examples of such vector field. In general, if F is a continuous vector field with domain D, we say that the line integral over C vector F dot dr is independent on the path if integral over C1 vector F dot dr, this is equal to integral over C2 vector F dot dr. This means two line integrals along any path, they are, if they are equal, then we say that our curve is path independent. For any two paths C1 and C2 and having the same initial and the terminal points. Now there is one theorem. What it says, a line integral with continuous f1, f2, f3 in a domain D in space is path independent in D if and only if vector f having components f1, f2, f3 is the gradient of some function f in D. That is vector f, this is equal to grade f. We just compare these two, then what we find, f1 is equal to del f by del x, f2 is equal to double f by double y, f3 is equal to double f by double z. Or what we have, what is given to us and what we have to prove. So we in the proof what we have, we assume that 2 holds, means this thing holds for some function f in D, and we have to show that the path is independence. So integral over C f1 dx plus f2 dy plus f3 dz, this is equal to f of b minus f of a. Or the converse is path independence 3 implies 2. 3 is given to us and we have to prove 2. So this is the one theorem based on the path independence. Next you have potential function. How we define the potential function? If vector f is a vector field defined on D and vector f, this is equal to del f for some scalar f on D, then f is called the potential function for f. Now we will solve one problem based on the potential function. Evaluate the integral I, integral over c 3x square dx plus 2yz dy plus y square dz from the point A having components 0, 1, 2 to point B having components 1, -1, 7 by showing that f has a potential function. Now see the solution. If vector f has a potential f, we should have double f by double x. This is equal to f1, which is equal to 3x square. Then double f by double y, which is equal to f2, which is equal to 2yz. Then double f by double z, which is equal to f3, which is equal to y square. We show that we can satisfy these conditions. Now by integration of fx and differentiation, we get f as x cube plus gyz. We just integrate this function. Double f by double f with respect to x, then what we will get? We will get f as x cube plus g is a function of two variables y and z. Now fy is given to us, fy which is written as a new function as gy, which is equal to 2yz. Now if I integrate this with respect to y, I will get g and y it becomes y square by 2, 2 and 2 goes, so you are left with y square z. So g which is equal to y square z plus hz. Now substituting the value of g from this expression to first expression, this one. So what we will get? We will get f as x cube plus y square z plus hz. Now our fz is y square. Fz is y square plus I can write this as fz is equal to y square, which is equal to y square plus h dash, where h dash is 0. So let us integrate it and let us suppose h as 0. So our fxyz, what it becomes, just substitute h as 0 over here in this expression. So what you are getting, f of xyz, this is equal to x cube plus y square z. Now I want to find I which is equal to f of 1 minus 1 7, this is the terminal point, minus f of 0 1 2, which is the initial point. So I am evaluating the value of f at the point 1 minus 1 7. So 1 square plus minus 1 square into 7. So what I will get? 1 plus 7. Now f of 0 1 2. So 0 cube plus 1 square into 2. So it becomes 0 plus 2. So 7 plus 1 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. In this way we can find the potential function. Now next is conservative vector field. A vector field f is said to be conservative vector field if it is the gradient of some scalar function, that is, if there exists f such that vector f is equal to del f. Conservative field is same as saying the potential field, potential function. Now in this situation, f is called the potential function for f. Not all vector fields are conservative, but some fields do arise frequently in physics. Next question is, show that the vector field defined by vector function v which is equal to xyz yzi plus xzj plus xyk is conservative. Now if the given field is conservative, then it can be expressed as gradient of a scalar function f of xyz. Therefore, del f, this is equal to I del f by del x plus j double f by double y plus k double f by double z, which is equal to v. So v is given as xyz yzi plus xzj plus xyk. Now comparing these two, just comparing the coefficients of I, j and k. So what I will get, double f by double x, this is equal to x y square z square, double f by double y, this is equal to x square y z square, double f by double z, this is equal to x square y square z. Now integrating the first equation. So we get f of xyz, integrating this is equal to 1 by 2 x square y square z square plus g of yz. Now substituting its value, we get double f by double y, this is equal to x square yz square, which is equal to from here you will find double f by double y, so this will be x square yz square plus double g by double y. So comparing these two, double g by double y, that will be 0, or integrate it, so you will get g is equal to gz. G is a function of some variable z. Now substituting in the third equation, we get double f by double z, this is equal to x square y square z, which is equal to x square y square z plus double g by double z. Now comparing these two, double g by double z, this will be 0, or g is equal to k. Integrated, g is equal to k, which is a constant. So I am getting the value of g as k. Now substituting the value of g in the given expression, I will get f of xyz, this is equal to 1 by 2 x square y square z square plus k. Therefore, there exists a scalar function f, which is a function of three variables x, y, z, such that del f is equal to v and the vector field v is conservative. Applications. Path independence, potential function and conservative fields have applications in the field of physics and chemistry. Thank you.